The next panel will be Sheila Page, Claude Owling, Jerry Ward, Amanda Hernandez, Sandy Smith, and Tina Hester. They will be followed by Christopher Russo, Robbie Osley, Linda Fowler, Nancy Cardenas, Cordelia Wright, and Johanna Close. Ms. Page?
My name is Sheila Page. I'm a DO, and I'm here to testify in favor of the bill, and I'm from Parker County. I would like to address the article on fetal pain that was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association in August of 2005. This article has been referenced several times in support of the concept that fetuses do not feel pain. However, this article is a review article, and it reviews about 90 research articles over a period of 40 years that were conducted in support of the concept of fetal pain. And it's an attempt to refute them by interjecting their own hypothesis without support. So their hypothesis is that a fetus cannot feel pain if it does not have functioning cortical fibers in the cortex of the brain. If you have a hypothesis and you can demonstrate one counterexample that contradicts your hypothesis, then that is no longer a valid hypothesis and it has to be modified or thrown out. Well, decorticated infants have been demonstrated by studies to feel pain. They have a valid pain response. They demonstrate conscious behavior and emotional responses. And that is a counterexample to that hypothesis, and it refutes the example. The hypothesis has to be thrown out. Also, I want to just read real quick a quote from this article. Because pain perception probably does not function before the third trimester, discussions of fetal pain for abortions performed before the end of the second trimester should be non-compulsory. And this is a scientific article. In other words, they're stating we really don't want to investigate this further if we don't ask. Okay.
Ms. Cloyd? Oh, I'm sorry. Say Cloyd. Cloyd Dowling.
Dowling.
Dowling. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen of the committee, and men and women of this great state, my name is Claude Owling of Austin, Texas, represented by Kirk Watson of this district, and I'm here to speak to you respectfully in opposition of the bill before the committee now. As a Texan, born and raised here in Austin, I was always taught to respect women and their choices in personal matters that concern them. Not only that, I was taught to respect everyone's privacy, and this is not something that I am alone in believing. In fact, a woman's right to privacy and the ability to choose to live her life as she sees fit is something that is guaranteed to every citizen in the United States under the Constitution. This bill before you now is an egregious affront to the foundation of our country and an assault on the values of liberty and freedom that we as Texans hold so very dear. This legislation stifles the ability of women and their families to live freely and puts people's lives in danger unnecessarily in order to impose your will and your personal values on people who wholeheartedly disagree with you. This shows a fundamental lack of respect for women and their ability to make a choice for themselves and the type of health care that they seek. And it sends a message to the people of Texas and everyone in this nation that you don't trust them to make that choice without your say-so. And you do so by disguising this insult by concern for women's health. And in reality, it's really to just subjugate them and their families. It's my sincerest hope that you and your colleagues reconsider your support of this bill and stand with the women of Texas as I do today. Because if you can't stand with your sisters and your daughters and your mothers and your wives and your friends and family in support of their rights, you don't deserve to stand for anything. Thank you for your consideration, and please do the right thing.
Thank you. Ms. Ward?
My name is Jerry Lynn Ward. I live here in Travis County, and Tori Fraser is my senator, and I'm here on behalf of the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons, of which I'm an associate member. I'm also here on my own behalf as a lawyer who provides representation to health providers, but I'm especially proud to be representing the point of view by AAPS because their motto is all for the patient, and I believe that SB1 is all for the patient, and both AAPS and I support it. I support it for several reasons. First of all, it's in the public interest for abortionists to be given the same kinds of standards as others who perform risky procedures. The federal courts have long recognized the risks of abortions, such as perforation, hemorrhaging, and actual death, and have long ruled, ever since 1975, that state legislatures have the power and authority to determine who can perform abortions. And therefore, that line of cases would apply both in the case of the 30-mile rule and mandating that abortion facilities meet ACS standards. Furthermore, ACS standards will certainly help in the situation of abortions. And some speakers have already talked about some of the ways that some of the increased standards will protect women who are about to get abortions. I want to add a few things. First of all, they will be required to provide for services when the clinic is not open, just as the ACSs must do, which will aid women who have complications after hours. There are certain requirements with regard to medical records and the way they must be kept. And you must note that abortion clinics, some of the most vital information about the woman's condition upon the finalization of the abortion is in the progress notes. And the facilities are given 10 days before they have to give those to the woman. That is not good for continuity of care. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hernandez?
I'm Amanda Hernandez. I'm a constituent of Senator John Whitmire, and I'm against SB1. I come as a healthcare provider with over 3 years of emergency room experience, and I am fortunate that I never had to treat or witness the aftermath of an illegal, unsafe back alley abortion, such as those killed and maimed thousands of women every year before there was safe, legal abortion. This bill seems to want to bring those horrors back. The wealthy have always, will always have access to safe abortion. SB1 will cause injury and death for the poor and working class women who will be forced to seek unsafe abortions. I come to you as a former anti-abortion activist. Till 2 years ago, since I was a child, that's what I was. I am now pro-choice because I respect all life. I can now see that being anti-abortion and doing things such as this bill does not stand for life at all. Being anti-abortion does not consider the life of the woman, but seeks only to control her body. I say to you, it is a great crime against humanity to force a fetus to be brought to term and born into a world where they will die a slow, painful death in a society that is unjust and not equal. Is this something to answer with laughter? Supporters of this bill seem to think so. Some people from Texas Right to Life, standing right beside their director, Jim Graham, laughed at me when I said these words the last time I came here to testify. Their director provided no apology nor comment. These bills do not stand for life. These bills are pro-forced birth, pro-unsafe abortion. This is why I oppose these bills. Thank you.
Thank you. Are these your children?
These are my children, and I want them to have rights too.
Introduce them to us.
No, because I am scared. I have been harassed and stalked on Facebook and Twitter by anti-abortion people. This is why I'm trying to hide their faces.
Okay, but let me tell you, I can see a little bit of their face, and they're darling, and I heard one sing the ABCs. So
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for being here and testifying. Ms. Smith?
Hi, I'm Sandy Smith. I'm from San Antonio. I'm representing myself, and I am for this bill. I am one of the nurses that has set in on many terminations, so I do have, in my earlier years, so I do have the blood of those children on my hands, and regret that each and every day. But thank God we have a forgiving God and have asked for forgiveness for that. I feel bad that I think that these children at 5 months do feel pain, because, as one doctor had said, they do have all of their eyes, their nose, their hands, their feet. So obviously they do have a nervous system. So that's just, I'm just short and sweet, and that's how I feel.
We like short and sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hester? Hessler.
And I'll try to be short and sweet as well. My name is Tina Hester, and I'm a constituent of Senator Donna Campbell, and I'm testifying on behalf of myself, and I oppose SB 1. I'm also the executive director of Jane's Due Process. It's a nonprofit organization in Texas that ensures legal representation for pregnant minors. While we assist minors with issues surrounding Title IX violations and emancipation, the majority of the calls that we get on our 24/7 legal hotline are for minors seeking representation for judicial bypasses. A review of our hotline statistics show that more than a half of the 5,000 minors who have called our hotline live outside of the 4 counties that currently have ambulatory surgical centers. Access to transportation is a crucial issue for many who are trying to exercise their constitutional rights. This legislation places an undue burden on the poor and the young and the minors from rural communities. I urge you to consider the consequences of your actions. Yesterday I heard Senator Dewell on a radio program question how someone could profess his faith as a Christian and still support access to abortion. Senator Dewell, I am a Christian, I'm an active member of my Methodist church, and I support reproductive justice. In fact, the Methodist Church policy supports a woman's right to make a decision that is best for herself and for her family. Please understand that good Christians differ on these decisions. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Thank you to this panel. If you'll exit in that direction.